Hello everybody, and just here and welcome back to Frieren, episode 10, in which Frieren will fight Aura. Because that's what's left, isn't it? In the previous episode, after all, Stark and Fern were victorious against Linie and Lugner, so now all that is left is Frieren's fight against Aura. Right? Makes sense. It was very hard to avoid spoilers for this episode. I'm gonna be honest with you. I somehow managed. I somehow managed to only get spoiled that Frieren will fight Aura, but that's not really much of a spoiler, is it? But oh boy, it wasn't easy to avoid all of that. To avoid all of those spoilers, because apparently this episode is really hype and people keep posting about it online a lot. So I'm also anticipating it. I'm also very much anticipating it. Me watching it here also out of schedule will also mean that I'm up to date. I'm all caught up. Hey, now I'm only behind with I'm only gonna be behind with Ancient Magus Bride, and I think I'm one episode behind on Shy, and maybe one episode behind on Saihet and a Paladin. I'm not sure about that last one. I don't know, we'll see. Regardless, what happened in the previous episode? Stark and Fern successfully rescued Graf Granat. They were hiding in some church that also has its own anti-demonic barrier. Then they decided that, let's not hide here, let's not keep hiding, let's get that fight to them. Or rather, Stark decided that, hey, let's grab Frieren, let's have Frieren solve the problem for us. And that's what they wanted to do. But then they were attacked because they were smeared with blood, with Lugner's blood, and he can track his blood because he is really good at blood magic. That's what demons do. They are really good at one certain particular type of magic, and for Lugner it's hemomancy, I guess you could call it. So, whether they wanted it or not, they had to fight. They got separated. Stark was pitted against Linie, and Fern was pitted against Lugner. Stark had his fair share of issues with Linie. She was using Eisen's techniques, but they were still just imitations. So although Stark was all buttered up and beaten, and I'm pretty sure his clavicle was just cleaved in half, but his hand was still, his arm rather, was still somehow attached and usable. I don't know. Maybe he has some sort of a regeneration factor or something, who's to say. Stark remembered the words of his master, that as long as you stand up, you haven't lost. And the warrior only loses when they no longer stand up. So stand the fuck up. Don't give up. Just stand up and keep fighting until you genuinely can't. And even then, stand up again and keep fighting. And he also was reminded of Eisen's hits with his stuff and things. And apparently, Linie can imitate any sort of melee fighting style, fighting ability, but keyword being imitate. It's not real. So Stark was able to catch Linie's axe with his ribs and then deal his own blow. And there goes Linie. She's done. Fern, meanwhile, was fighting with Lugner. They had a little bit of a chat. First, Lugner was trying to get some information out of Fern. It seems like she managed to misdirect his, his thoughts, his plans a little bit. He got lost in thought, and that gave her a chance to retrieve her stuff. which might very well have been something that Lugner just allowed her to do, because demons are monsters and they really want to toy with their prey. And Frieren was very much a prey to him. He underestimated her, though. He really underestimated her. He thought that he's gonna manage to just outlast her. As long as he keeps blocking, then he's gonna keep winning. He's a demon, he has more magic capacity, he has stronger magic. Of course, he's gonna be able to win this war of attrition. Well, haha. Maybe with a different mage, but not with Frieren. She can fire her spells at rapid pace. She has a lot of mana, we know that. She has really strong spells. Her only issue is with concentrating the spells properly, but this seems to have largely been resolved. So Lugner was at a lost position, and then he got distracted by Linia's death, which gave opening to Frieren, and he just got Zolfracked, his heart and half of his body. We know that the heart is the weak spot of a demon, so that's a win. Stark won, Frieren won. Frieren wasn't mistaken saying that they can manage. They don't need her for this fight. Now they are all bloodied and beaten up, and Frieren has a pierced shoulder, Stark has a cleaved clavicle, and lots of other bruises and cuts, but they emerged victorious and they survived, and that's what matters, isn't it? Regarding Frieren and Aura, Frieren arrived, fought the ads for a little bit, and this really seems to be Aura's strategy because she has the scales, the magic scales, where on one side the soul of the holder of the scale is put, and on the other side the soul of the enemy. And if your soul, as the owner of the scales, as the handler, is heavier, then you can control the enemy at will. What is the weight of the soul? It is the amount of mana you have, not the maximum amount of mana, but the amount of mana you possess at any given moment. So the assumption on Aura's side is that Frieren will have to cut through all of those puppets, all of those ads. She will exhaust her magic, she will exhaust her mana, her soul will be lighter, and Aura will be able to take control. Suffice to say, I don't think that's gonna happen. First of all, because we wouldn't have a show, and this show is titled fucking Frieren, so Frieren can't just die. Second of all, Frieren knew of what the scale is doing, so she had the time to prepare. She had the time to fatten up her soul nice and plump with more and more and more magic. So I fully expect Frieren to just take control of Aura. You know, Uno reverse, taking control of Aura, and in other circumstances or with other characters, I would say that Frieren would probably order her to spill out all of her plans and what she wants to do here, and maybe do a funny dance or something, but knowing Frieren the Slayer, she's probably gonna tell Aura to just jump into the abyss and just kill herself. That's probably what's gonna happen, let's be honest. Frieren isn't much for talking with demons, we know that much. So she's just gonna be straight to the point. Oh, cool, I have control over you, well, off yourself. That's probably what's gonna happen. We'll see, of course, all about it in today's episode. I wonder if it's all gonna be fight with Frieren against Aura. Are we gonna get some flashbacks to Frieren fighting Aura previously? Are we gonna get something else maybe? Maybe the first half is gonna be the fight, and the second half is gonna be Graf Granat officially pardoning Frieren and giving her a magic tome as a, I don't know, reward or something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Either way is entirely plausible when it comes to this show, so let's just watch it. How about that? To do that, you will of course need your subs to follow along with me. I am going to need my sound to hear what's going on. And I'm also going to have to ask you guys for your support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or YouTube or not. Share my content, spread the word, it costs you nothing and helps a lot. And with that out of the way, we can start watching Frieren episode 10 in 3, 2, 1, go. Peaceful, calm, only creaking wood. Frieren and Flamme? Yep, Flamme. Right, and we know that there's going to be something about Frieren's elven village being destroyed, something. So we know where Frieren gets the definition from. Makes sense. Okay. Straight up planning genocide. I mean, they are demons, so fair's fair, right? I guess Frieren carries Flamme's torch, doesn't she? Flamme didn't manage to kill all of the demons. Maybe Frieren will. If Frieren can't manage, I'm sure Fern is gonna pick up the torch. Hey, eventually, after Fern is all grown up and powerful mage, they can even split, right? Frieren is gonna cleanse this continent, Fern is gonna cleanse the other continent. And Stark, I don't know, he's gonna take the islands or something. Or he's gonna travel together with Fern. I love this chorus. Okay, let's see it. A powerful mage. Flashback? No. You don't have the heart, my dude. Now take his head. Eh. I have a feeling that she will escape unscathed, actually. She is an army, my dude. Did you check? Because if not, then you're just working on assumptions. That's also fair. I guess Frieren is just not going to fight fair either. Yeah, she did, but it was like, what, 8 years ago? She's changed. Did magic research go so far ahead that just using spells is so much more efficient nowadays? Using magic from the environment, burning your life force instead of mana, using your opponent's mana. I don't know. Is this where Flamme found Frieren? And he largely succeeded. Frieren. Frieren. That's a lot of mana. Right. Lesson 1. Don't play fair. Kick some sand in their eyes. Because you're also powerful. Oh, is it like about the concentration of mana? Not about the size. You can have a big aura, but the mana is diluted, or you can just concentrate it into just one pillar. Maybe. Maybe. Wouldn't surprise me if that was actually a thing. Okay, I'm just gonna be taking my Elf Survivor and leaving. Oh. Demons. Okay. Well, that's surprising. Lugner? Right, because they've been focusing on their magic all their lives. Said nothing about the humans. Or so they say. We know that language is just a tool for them. They don't. Simple. And overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. Confidence can't stop a magic nuke. Easy. Lesson 1. Hide your mana. Yep. Okay, I was correct, actually. I was correct. Right, and demons are prideful. That's why Lugner said that she's a disgrace, because how can you suppress your mana? You should be flaunting that, right? Okay. Everything makes sense now. Clamped up cinnamon and pieces of cardamom. Great flavor, not great texture. Except your life. So does Flamme. Use magic to exterminate them then. I see no conflict of interest here. Yeah, she's been essentially trained to be the perfect aura killer all your life. "24/7, 365. Yep. She really was trained to be a demon slayer, wasn't she? Only you are left. That's a big if. Okay, a little bit of a recap. And most of those melee fighters didn't train any usage of mana, of course. But Frieren also trained for hundreds of years, didn't she? Okay, so it's not even a matter of pride, it's a matter of just being unable to control the mana released. Whoop. It really is Rome, isn't it? Elves can do it naturally, humans can learn it, demons cannot. Ahead. Yep. Makes sense, but the demons organize themselves by the amount of mana they possess. Just organize themselves by sheer strength, exactly. Yeah. Makes it very easy to judge just how strong your opponent is, though. Right, lest they be taken for someone weak. Yeah. Yep. It's a matter of pride. Gotcha. Mm-hmm. A demon discarding their magic, hiding their magic, would be like a king living in a shack in the forest wearing rags. Basically, that's the equivalent. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she manages. That's even smaller. Yeah. Oh, old Flamme, I didn't think we're gonna actually see her like that. I mean, like, I know that this show is all about the passage of time, but somehow it didn't occur to me that Flamme would also age. Yeah, there's gonna be someone left killing demons. That's good in my book. That's why she also joined the excursion to kill the Demon King, I would assume. Her master's goal. And is that how Frieren started learning all sorts of spells that aren't combat useful? Well, too late for that. Okay, gotcha. That's the condition. Makes sense. Are we gonna see Frieren recruited to defeat the Demon Lord now, or is it still a couple of flashbacks away? Building her hut. Sleeping on a bear thing. The development of civilization. Okay, that illustrates the passage of time really nicely. And that's how they found her. Yep. How can you tell, Himmel? Okay, instinct. Okay, that was a lot of images. Okay, so Son of Frieren translates to Frieren the Slayer? Really? Is the title of this show Frieren the Slayer? I was under the impression that it's something different. Your perceived image of her mana? Let's see it. That's a big sword. So can the mana suppression technique fool even the scales? Interesting. I thought the scales are able to measure it, like, absolutely. They sure are. This was just much easier. Take out the captain instead of trying to fight the goons. Release. Mane tekel fares, and you have been caught lacking. And yet it did. She's really good at suppression. What can I say? That's bead of sweat. To kill demons. Why else? Yeah, that was the entire goal. Yeah, release. You done goofed. You done goofed, Aura. That's a lot of mana. Holy shit, that's a lot of mana. Easy. Okay, so she did engage in a little bit of a dialogue, didn't just order her to kill herself immediately. Now she does. Straight to the point. That's a sharp sword. Cuts her hair just like that. Okay. That went about as I expected it to go. Okay. I know why people were so hyped for this episode. Why the amount of posts on social media about Frieren just jumped up tenfold. And Frieren didn't even spare a glance. Someone's gonna meme this screen cap with Frieren saying, "Go kill yourself to hell and back." That's what people were posting, wasn't it? I bet that was it. I bet that's the freshest meme. I bet that's the freshest anime meme right now. Okay, we learned a lot over the course of this episode. We know how old Frieren is. We know about the mana suppression and stuff. Okay. Okay, something more about elves. One last remaining elven village they're gonna visit, or part of a flashback? I know. We'll see, but right now we're gonna see this episode again. As we always do. Yeah, flashback. Their kind uses words only to deceive humans. They're nothing more than monsters capable of speech. That's where the definition comes from. They don't play fair, so we must be even more unfair. Yeah, that's how you defeat someone who doesn't play fair. You play even less fair. You're not gonna defeat someone who doesn't play fair in a fair fight, right? Also, are those the same earrings that Frieren wears? I know, they look similar. Not the mount, not because Frieren kind of uses like a, you know, like a clasp rather than a pierced hole, but the red teardrop looks basically the same. If it allows me to exterminate demonkind, then I will gladly embrace this dishonor. Dishonor of playing unfair. Sure, I guess you could say it's a dishonor. That's... Yeah, I think at least the teardrop is the same. It lacks that lower... Yeah, it lacks that lower bead, and the mount is different, but I think the red bead is the same. I wonder... Is it something like a mana store or something for mages? Because if Frieren got those earrings from Flamme, she would wear the exact same ones, but she's wearing just this specific shape. Other than that, they are different. Or did the rest just deteriorate and she just keeps using the gem, but keeps replacing the rest every couple hundreds of years when it's broken? I don't know. I wonder, though, if red gem in the earrings is something more. Probably not mana storage, but I don't know, something. Maybe a catalyst for some advanced magic techniques or whatever. I'm surprised that he's still alive for this long. I thought that destroying the heart is just, you know, that's it, but maybe because he can control blood, that's why he can keep himself alive for a little longer. I'm not sure. Maybe. She must be fighting Lady Aura. There are no heroes to protect her. Yeah, she has less mana than Lady Aura. Then Frieren will win. We know how Frieren is so confident because Frieren probably taught her the same, the technique of limiting her mana output. She'd never directly engage a demon, she'll trick Aura and kill her. Yep. She always engaged us directly. This girl's mana is weak, but she was able to cast magic so much, right? This many times and so quickly, and she still has this much mana. I initially thought that it's going to be similar to Zolthrak and protection spells, where magic progressed so much over the years that Zolthrak is just whatever. It's a tickle spell because every single piece of gear now protects against it. In the same vein, magic progressed so much that you can cast spells at a fraction of the cost. So Aura might be confident that, oh, Frieren used so many spells already, she must be exhausted, let's use the scales. Meanwhile, Frieren just has plenty of mana still left. I thought that's what it is. How is she able to do that without exhausting her mana? Yeah, right? Super efficient spells. Is that even possible? So Frieren does the same. You're a disgrace to all mages. This didn't fit that belief, right? That why would it be a disgrace? Why would making magic more efficient be a disgrace unless demons are magic puritans that don't do spell modification? They can learn spells to be better, but they believe that changing magic is something disrespectful. I know. That was my thought initially. But no, as it turns out, mana suppression. That's a fair bit of mana. That's probably about how much Frieren has right now without suppressing it. That would be my bet. You must be powerful. There are plenty of other options. Yeah. You should understand you're also powerful despite the amount of mana being less on Flamme, and that's when I started going in the correct direction, right? Maybe it's about density. Frieren is just not keeping that mana in check, so it flies every which way and gets diluted in the air. Meanwhile, Flamme just sucks it up, concentrates it, and keeps it all in check. That's why the column of her mana might be smaller, the aura might be smaller, but the density and the amount of magic particles or whatever is much higher in that smaller area. Smaller volume, rather. All the elves are dead. They had every intention of catching us off guard by concealing their mana, but they figured out we are also mages, so they stepped out in the open. Because they can see, they think they can see how much mana you have, so they figure, hey, we have more mana, we can just attack openly. It's not going to be a big deal. Every last one of them has a ridiculous sense of pride when it comes to magic. That's why then they don't suppress it, because to them, magic is wealth. Something you flaunt, you don't suppress. Kill all the elves, those were the orders, so of course, if you put her down on the ground and you can walk away. We have nothing against you, human. We were only here for the mages. 100% they would have killed her anyway. If she turned around and left Frieren here, I have absolutely no doubt that it is another use of the tool called language. To make you lose your whatchamacallit, carefulness, for the lack of a better word. Caution, to stop being cautious. The absolute confidence they have, they're stupidly proud and overconfident. And here we go, the results of overconfidence. A big boom. I love this little like wave of grass. The whatchamacallit? It has a specific name. The shockwave. The shockwave shown by the wave of grass. This is such a cool visual. They judged me a weakling because I don't have a lot of mana. And that's exactly how we deceive the demons. They think you are weak, so they don't resort to subterfuge. They just go out there all confidently. I'm a stronger mage than that weakling, so I'm just gonna go out there and I'm just gonna beat that mage to a pulp because I'm stronger. Right? It makes them lose their advantage. Human and elven control of their mana is the equivalent of demons' control of the language, I would say. Right? Demon can be like, all crouching on the ground. No, please don't hurt me, sir. I'm so weak and pathetic. No, I surrender. And then just out of nowhere slice the jugular of their human opponent open. That's how they use the language and the acting skills. Meanwhile, humans can be like, oh, I'm so weak, my aura is so small, can't you see that, sir? I'm really nobody, please, spare me. And then just blast them with a magic nuke, because it was just a deception. Level playing field. I like it. You hid your strength by controlling how much mana you release. Yep, exactly. Deceive and kill your enemies by allowing them to miscalculate your strength. Cowardly and unfair way to fight that makes a mockery of magic. I don't know why. I don't know why the perception would be that it makes a mockery of magic. Is the perception among humans and elves similar to the perception of magic among the demons, that it's something you should flaunt, it's not something you should suppress? I wouldn't think so, but apparently that seems like the case. I know, I would say that it's just, it's just basic caution. You don't carry your wallet in the open. You don't carry your magic sword in the open. You put it in the scabbard. You don't carry your mana out in the open. You also suppress that and obstruct that so that your enemies cannot judge you properly. It seems like a, very basic thing to me. not something that would be like, you know, an affront to magic itself or something, but apparently that is the belief, the thinking in this world. Frieren really likes scrolls. Ever since the youngest years. I mean, she's probably like 200 here or something. You and I should become cowards who make a mockery of magic. Yeah, again, that's probably how it is. You should flaunt magic instead of suppressing it. If you suppress it, you make a mockery of it. And we will also work on raising your base mana level. Essentially, we're gonna raise you to be a demon killer. Because Flamme has beef with the demons, so she's gonna raise herself a tiny little demon killer to take over for her. How long should I keep suppressing it? For life. Yeah, what did you think? That it's just occasional usage? You don't know where the demons are. Demons can be anywhere. You should suppress it all the time. Also, to get better at it, because as we know, as we learn later, demons can judge whether your mana is shaking, wavering, the output is uneven maybe, and they can figure out to a limited capacity that, hey, they're suppressing mana, so I'm gonna be a little bit more careful. When you suppress it 24/7, 365, you get so good at it that the demons cannot detect it. Cool. Makes perfect sense. It really seems like Frieren was trained to be the perfect foil. Is that how we say it? Perfect foil for Aura? The perfect enemy, the perfect opponent for Aura. Not necessarily just a perfect demon slayer, but specifically she was trained to counter Aura. Or maybe it's the other way around. Aura relies so much on the things that make demons so easy to deceive in that regard, that Frieren, who is so good at deceiving demons, has a natural edge over her. I think that's more apt way to put it. If I can defeat you here, then it won't have been for nothing. Was it wise to expend so much mana against me? Yeah, we know how the scales work, 500 years. And this is the moment where Frieren knew that she has won, because 500 years, what is it? It's like nothing. That's half my age so far, and I'm gonna live for like 10 times this much still. What are you even talking about, girly? I can learn so much just from the mana flowing off her. This is interesting, but it's cool that we have a precedent for it, because Linie can learn fighting techniques also by observing mana. So this is cool, that observing mana can also teach you things about your opponent. Another reason why you should suppress it, why you should obstruct your enemy's vision of your mana. So they can't read your moves, they don't know what abilities you have, and they don't know how much mana you have. Everything makes perfect sense, everything comes together. Demons don't conceal their mana, nor can they. What is it about being able to or not? I thought that it might be like a racial trait, where humans can learn it, elves can do it naturally, and demons just cannot do it. They are physically incapable of suppressing their mana. But they form barest connection. But it's more like they can't suppress. They are physically able to suppress the mana, and if a demon wanted to, they could probably keep their mana suppressed for life, just like Frieren and Flamme. But they can't, in the meaning that it would have an adverse effect on their position in the demon hierarchy, right? Because they would be seen as someone lesser because they don't have enough mana. So they just flaunt it to establish dominance, establish the pecking order in the demon society. So that's why they can't do that. If there was a demon who would be fine with being the bottom feeder of the demon society, but being a hidden badass, they could do it. But I don't think demons have the capacity to do that, to like plan in those, you know, those ways of I'm gonna humiliate myself for future gain. I know. Yeah, organization needs a head, it needs an order. That's how you can tell that a human is high in the hierarchy. And how do you tell it by a demon? Might makes right. The more mana you have, the higher you are. Simple. I love how Frieren is just walking here on the side here, just trying to be a little bit taller, or at least just a little bit closer in height to Flamme. I remember my my childhood town. There was a road, there was a sidewalk near the road, and next to the sidewalk was that like wide and fairly short, kind of like, I don't know, not a fence, like a something. And beyond that, there were some trees, plants, and stuff like that. I would always love walking over that tiny little wall. I guess you could call it retaining wall. I don't know. So it kind of, you know, jiggled that memory in my head. The difference between a noble sneaking out into town incognito and that same noble debasing themselves by abandoning their status and wealth entirely. Yeah, that's why the demons cannot do that. Or rather, are unwilling to. Because they could. Technically they could. But they won't. They never grant any dignity to those with little mana. Yeah, that's why they won't do that. There's no benefit to constantly suppressing it. Yep. You're lucky you're not a demon, because thanks to that, you can fool them. Magic for revenge. Plant flowers. Is it a similar spell that was used around Himmel's statue in that one town early on in the season? Or similar, at least. Smiling Frieren, that's a rare sight. And yeah, it somehow never registered to me that we're actually gonna see old Flamme. I know, I somehow had it in my head that we're either gonna be jumping back into flashbacks where she was young and still teaching Frieren, or we're gonna be in the present but not in the like tail end of Flamme's life. I don't know why. Just funny it happened. You won't leave your name in history until you defeat the Demon King. Yeah, this is your goal. Don't put your name in the history books until you defeat the Demon King. That's when you can start flaunting it. That's when you can start being recognizable. Until then, live in obscurity. For years and years and years in caves and forests, eventually building a hut. This is cool. It really shows the development of the area and the passage of time. And it shows the way cities formed in, like, legit in medieval times. You would first have a small village, then some more people arrive, and you need some protection, so we build a bastion and a palisade around town. Then there are more people, so we need to extend it, and now we have stone. We can purchase stone because the village is so wealthy, so that we can build some stone buildings and tall towers for protection as well. Then we can have cobbled roads. That's gonna be cool. There are merchants in town. They bring so much money, but they also expect protection from bandits, so we should have some gates and a gatehouse. And then, oh, there is an area outside, right? The entirety of the main city is cobbled now. Where are we gonna have our crops? Outside, of course, but the outside should also be protected. So we should build another wall. And that's how cities naturally develop. Yeah, I like the way cities develop naturally. I live in a city that also developed that way. It started with, I think, like one island. Then the city expanded to more islands, and eventually there was a moat and a wall. And now the wall is demolished, but instead of the wall, where the wall was, the old bricks and stuff, I think is still left over. You have just a walking path. You can walk where the wall was, and the moat is still there. and it's just a tiny little central portion of the city. And when you look at the map and you see the comparison of how huge the city is right now compared to how it was in like medieval times, that's, I don't know, I just find it neat. I just find it cool. And that's apparently how they found Frieren, a rumor about a powerful, or rather, long-lived mage. 1/5 of my mana, of course, because she suppresses it. Himmel somehow knows that he's much stronger than she leads on. Somehow, I don't know how, but she does. Außerlesse. It probably means something in German. I don't know German. I have a translator. After all, does it actually mean something in German? I wonder. Außerlesse, Äußerlesse, however you pronounce it. Yeah, into English, but from German. Where is it? There it is. Choice. Okay, sure. Außerlese. That's how you pronounce it. Gotcha. Außerlese. Is that how she pronounces it? I think it is. Right, this. I almost skipped over it. Fighting a dragon. Fighting this guy that she later finished off with Fern. Then fighting Aura, oddly enough, and they didn't finish her off. I wonder why. Is it before the entire party knew that demons are not to be trusted? And they were like, oh, she surely will reject the path of evil and she will reform. Let's let her live. She's no, she's no threat anymore. Her entire army is dead. Let's... Something like that? I know. I wonder. I wonder if in the next episode we're gonna see more of this. Because, yeah, I legit wonder how did Aura survive? She even let off the scales. Her main biggest weapon. She could have been killed right here, right now. Why wasn't she? And the Demon Lord Castle. Aderluse. That's how she pronounces it. Mane Tekel Fares. 8 years ago. Yeah, first... Oh... Is that part of Deception? Where Flamme said, live in obscurity? I bet it is. You made your first major appearance 8 years ago. You maybe have like a couple dozen more years of experience, so you probably have like 100 years of training. Whatever. I've been training for 500 years now. I'm surely stronger than you. But she miscalculated. You're an exceptional mage, but your mana itself is unimpressive. Yeah. You've barely changed since 8 years ago. That should be your hint that she just ages so slowly that she doesn't change. So 8 years is nothing. She might have lived for 2,000 years just as much. Just as well. Also, apparently the scales work with a delay. Or maybe they can also be fooled. And they started tipping as Frieren was releasing more and more of her mana. I know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it works. It wasn't even necessary to exhaust Frieren's mana. And that's exactly what Frieren was counting on. She didn't want to spend the time fighting the goons because she knew that it might actually have exhausted her mana. So she'd rather make Aura overconfident and draw her out, cut off the head, and the rest of the body falls dead. Essentially, the rest of the hive just falls dead. Yeah? Cunning, very cunning, Frieren. The scales are... And also, right, another thing. Aura doesn't want to lose more of her soldiers. They are her main defense and her main attack. So she'd also rather limit that and just, use the scales, win the fight, just like that, without much bloodshed, I guess, but those corpses don't even have blood anymore in them. But you know what I mean, right? She doesn't want to lose more of her forces. That's why she's so eager to fight. You placed my soul on the scales. Yeah, I would have been in trouble if you tried to overwhelm me with numbers. I've been suppressing my mana. Yeah, all my life. That's why I'm so good at it. Why would you do something pointless to kill demons? Killing demons is not pointless. Killing demons is public service. It lets me beat your kind. That's why. The person standing before you. Full release. 2 beads of sweat now. It's a mage who's lived for over 1,000 years. Get the fuck out with your 500. You youngin', you... Yeah, so much mana that it just encapsulates both of them. This is immeasurably more than she had when she started training under Flamme. Jesus, it's more than Flamme had. Because, of course, she had more time. Heavy, isn't it? Very heavy. You must use your mana to deceive demons. Yep. Just like that. 100% this is a meme. Actually, after I'm done with this episode, I'm going straight to Twitter and Reddit, and I would be really surprised if people didn't meme this. This is, I guarantee, this is why I've seen such a huge uptick in the amount of posts about Frieren. That's why I had to avoid spoilers. 100% this is why. Keep the scales, Frieren. They're gonna be useful. Great face. You can really see the despair in her eyes. And for a sword that's been in a scabbard for God knows how long, it's really sharp to cut her by just touching them. In general, I really love the detail of the hair actually, like, being cut off and falling off. There is so much focus in this show on hair, right? The strands on Fern's back in a previous episode, now Aura cutting off her hair. And wait, is that her... Is that the reflection of her face in the sword? Yeah, that's her face reflecting in the sword. Yep, that's her eye, clearly visible. Some tears. I wonder whether real or another tool to perhaps make Frieren waver and undo the command. You never know with the demons, right? On one hand, you want to believe that, hey, she's actually earnest, she doesn't want to die, no living being wants to die. But then you remember that one little demon girl who was laying on the ground, dying, and completely emotionless. It works. It works. The demon usage of language and mimicry of human emotions and behaviors really works, even on the viewer. Even on the viewer. That's so great about it. That's what's so great about it. I'm not sure I understand. You're traveling to heaven then. Do you have someone to praise you? Granat? I don't know. What's the first class mage? What is that trinket? Scales? The largest magical city in the northern lands. Auserest? Auserst, Auserst, I don't know, something like that. It's the winters of the northern lands. There we go. So, right. One thing I really wanted to talk about is how amazing episode. First of all, how the deception of the demons really works, even on the viewers. I know it works on me. 100% it works on other people. I can't be the only one who would take pity on that demon. Who had a thought in their head that maybe not, Frieren, maybe that's too much, maybe, I don't know, make her your slave, order her to rebuild the city, I don't know, something. You don't necessarily have to kill her like that, right? It's amazing because it works on the viewer. Very rarely do you see something like that happen in anime, I noticed, or in any media, actually. Characters in any given piece of media might be deceiving the main characters, for example, and either it's clear that they are deceiving the main characters, and you, the viewer, know that they are deceiving the main characters, but the main characters are getting deceived anyway, or it's hidden both from the viewers and from the main characters. And then it's a big reveal that everybody was being deceived. That's the only two ways well, not only, but for the most part, those are the only two types of deception that I see in anime and other media. Very rarely do I see something like this. I've never actually seen anything like this, where I know it's deception, I know how it works, and the characters in the show know how it works, and the characters in the show don't really fall for it, but I, the viewer, do. It's kind of like a reversal. Instead of me knowing that, no, don't trust them, they aren't speaking the truth, no, don't go after them, and the main characters being oblivious, it's kind of reversed. It's really cool, and it really shows, it really exemplifies just how powerful this method of deception is. Because you can show that the main characters are getting deceived, right? You can show that very easily because you can just show them being deceived. To deceive the viewer while the viewer knows it's deception, it transcends the screen. It's amazing. It's great. It's unprecedented. I love it. I love this show. What can I say? It was also great to see how Frieren just didn't look back. I think this was also done on purpose, right? Because if you look back, you might waver. You expose yourself to the demonic deception. You don't do that. You turn back. You close your ears. You don't listen. You don't look. To not be deceived by them. I also love how everything just, works together. Everything suddenly connects. It was just a good episode. It was just a good episode. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It was great. But did you enjoy it? Tell me all about it in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode, of my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? No spoilers, please. Spoilers can go to my Discord here and also in the description below. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Frieren, but also Mage Record, Shield Hero, Shangri-La Frontier, Shy, Helk, plenty of others coming in the future. Click the bell to be notified of when I go live, because I do stream sometimes. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon down below, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Mage Record, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. You can also support me directly on YouTube via memberships, super thanks, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, you don't have to. Share my content, spread the word. It costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my wonderful Patreons: QB, Without a Net, Survivor, Zayrainer, Aquamancer, David, Dr. Watt, Marsh, UK, Ale, Fassel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them without having to weigh your soul.